Rolling? Okay. You ready?
Yes, let's go.
Let's go. Episode 9. And joining me today is Coach Marianne Pahkala. How do you say it in Finnish?
Marianne Pahkala. That's really close.
Marianne Pahkala. How do the players call you?
They call me Coach P.
Coach P?
Yeah, that's I don't know where it started from. I think from Coach Kössler, but it's pretty endearing.
You know what? People from other countries, that last names you don't really know how to say. You just find an easy way around it.
Exactly.
I think maybe that's what it was. Coach P. Okay. Thank you for taking your time today. I know you're very busy. Your job title, like official job title with the Vikings, is Special Teams Coordinator, but I know you actually do so much more in this team, in this franchise. Tell us about your duties.
Yes, so I do special teams, I do strength and conditioning and our medical stuff. I also like to consider myself as somewhat of a helper for Coach Kössler and our Director of Football Operations, Leonard. So involved in many, many things in the office and many different roles and duties throughout the week, throughout the season. And that's what keeps it so exciting as well. So I focus on getting our special teams in order. We have amazing unit coaches for those, but overall, I'm the one responsible for them. Then on the strength and conditioning sphere, I program for our players. I coach them during our lifting sessions, and off season is another topic as well. That's when I'm most involved with that. And then medical coordinator, it's American football. Injuries are bound to happen. So I take care of that front as well, just communicating with the coaches, the doctors, the physiotherapists, and just trying to get the guys back on the field as fast as I can.
And you also go to the doctor's appointments with them and everything?
Yes, I often accompany them if I can, just to get the full picture of what's going on and be somewhat of a support for them, especially if it's something the athlete really doesn't want to hear. It's just nice to have a familiar face with them there.
Well, that's a lot of work you do. And how has it changed over the years? You started out here doing just strength and conditioning, or I think running backs at some point,
I started with just the running backs in 2023 when I first got here. And the roles have evolved and changed over the years, just kind of based on what the team's need is. And that's more than fine with me. I enjoy it that way. I just want to be helpful. So whatever role they want to put me in, I will enjoy it and grow into it.
And you also told me once you do a lot of like Excel sheets and stuff, like the office work, the nitty gritty that other people are annoyed with. You also do that.
Exactly. And I don't mind doing it because it's, like I said, it helps the team out. So I will do it. And I'm pretty good at it too. So,
well, tell us what a typical week in season looks like for you. Today's Tuesday, but let's say start on Monday. What does a week look like for you working for the Vikings?
Okay, awesome. Mondays, we do our import lifting sessions. We hit the gym together. And after those, I go to the office, start working on the film. I already started on Sunday, finish up on a lot of those duties, preparing for the first practice that gets there on Tuesday. Often on Mondays, Tuesdays, and still Wednesdays, we have those doctor's appointments, communication with physical therapists, and so on. So that takes up the beginning of the week. Then rolling into Thursday, Friday, more practice along the way, another lifting session with the import group, and then comes the game day, which has its own excitement, whether it's travel, whether it's home game. It has a lot of different duties tied into it. And then Sunday rolls around and I'm back to film and preparing for the next week. It's a very fast-paced season. There is really no days off, really. But I enjoyed that way, so different duties, different days, a lot going on.
And you're originally from Finland, right? How did your career in football start out, and what drew you to American football, and especially now in a European context? How did you pave your way into this full world?
It started out just like, I think for many people in football, your friends bring you in. And I had some male friends in high school, and they started playing American football, and I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I will join you guys, see what it's like. Shout out to St. Crocodiles on this. It was a great place to start my career. But I was immediately hooked. It was an environment where everybody would fit in. And that was my struggle in high school. I didn't always fit in, but in American football, there was always a place for me. And I truly enjoyed that. And once I got in it, I never looked back, and here I am still.
You also had NFL internships and some really really cool things that not a lot of people in Europe get to do. How did you get to do that, and what was the background?
Yeah. So after high school, I decided I want to be close to American football. I want to be a student athlete myself, even though not in American football. So I went over to the stateside, studied there, got my bachelor's and master's over there, and kept on working from internship to another, whether it was a college or NFL, just trying to learn as much as I could along the way. Not really even caring about the job title or the duties or what I would end up doing. My kind of motto was always that it doesn't matter what the role is as long as I'm moving towards my own personal goal, which was to know as much as I can, be involved in this, and finally find my place in American football. And that's how it all started, and that's still on the path that I'm on at the moment.
And somehow you ended up here in Vienna. Who
Yeah.
recruited you? How did you ended up here?
I was actually recruited by our amazing wide receiver coach, Coach Kössler. I coached in Romania for a few months, and we ended up going to a coaching convention in Berlin. And I met Coach Kössler over there. And I remember sharing with him that I'm wanting to find a role for myself, grow into it, and learn. And he was like, "Okay, you sound like a really cool person. Let me bring you over to Vienna." I came to visit before the first initial season that the Vikings had in 2022. Really loved it, really enjoyed my time. But I ended up taking another role for that year. And then in 23, I reached back out to Coach Kalaika, and he was like, "Yes, please come over here and let's make it work." And from there to this point, it's now my third season here. And I'm really, really glad that Coach Kössler saw something in me and wanted to bring me over here.
Well, thanks to Coach Kössler, I think Vienna can be very happy to have you. So you have been here for quite some time, as you said. What are the reasons you love it, and what makes you stay with the Vikings and come back season after season?
It is just a superior organization in Europe. There is nothing like it. I've seen a lot of teams over in the United States. I've seen quite a bit in Europe as well. And the Vienna Vikings, just the way the organization is, the team itself is, the guys we get to coach, the coaching staff I get to work with. It's so truly special that I would hate to leave. One thing that really helps as well, that Finland and Austria are so similar. The culture, it's just, there's a lot of cool things that connect the two countries, at least in my mind. So I feel very much at home here. And now I'm just working on the German speaking part. But after that, I think I'm going to stay here forever.
Next episode we'll do in German then. Well, that's nice to hear. So on all those stops that you made in your career, can you tell us about a moment or share a moment that has really shaped you in the way you coach, your coaching philosophy, and that taught you something that you still apply to this day?
It's a tough question because I've had so many stops. I met so many amazing coaches that I've learned from along the way. But this was probably before my coaching career even began. I was a dual sport athlete at Lindenwood University, small Division II school in St. Louis, Missouri. And I played Division I elite rugby under Coach Billy Nicholas, who was a hard-ass coach. As hard as they come, he would yell at you, scream at you, and push you to be better. And then I did track and field as well for Coach Dick Cochran, who was the polar opposite. He was the loving, caring type who was asking, not demanding. And I loved both those coaches equally, and I loved playing my sports for them. And that kind of taught me that there is no one certain way to coach. You can be from either end of the spectrum, somewhere in the middle. That as long as you're wanting to teach, you can teach, you can be a coach and just find the style that really suits you. Because I still draw from both those coaches that coached me. I've learned something that I still apply to this day.
Where do you see yourself in that spectrum now?
I am very much leaning towards the player's coach. It just kind of comes with being the female coach. It has always been throughout my career. Like, you're often the only female around there. It's male coaches. So you kind of take this softer role naturally, that the guys have like a softer presence, like somewhat of a sister-like, mother-like. It
Mhm.
sounds stupid and I don't want to be put into that box, but it's still like the caring that comes out of me very naturally.
Well, I think it's important to have both the strict and the caring parts. So,
Absolutely.
and also, I asked who recruited you, which was Coach Kössler. Now, my other question is, are you involved in the recruiting of players? And we also have a lot of Finnish players here. You're Finnish. One could think that there might be a connection.
One could think that, and they might be right. Obviously, I have the pleasure of knowing the greatest football talent in Finland. I coach the national team over there. I know the players. I follow the league over there. So it's just easy for me to bring up players from Finland and be like, hey, please look at this guy. I think he's a stud. We should recruit him if we have the opportunity to do so. So I've helped out a lot in that. And as well as when it comes to maybe our American players or players who have played in the US in past, like Europeans who went to college. Because I did spend all that time in the United States, I still know a lot of coaches, a lot of players. So I can help out by connecting bits and pieces. For example, Mani Dennis, I met 4 years ago, and he blew my mind when I saw him playing against my team in the spring league. And I remembered his name, kept in touch with him. And then when the opportunity arose here that we needed a corner, that was my first text message and call. And luckily we got him on here. So,
well, we have quite a lot of Finnish players, as I said, but now you recruit not only Finnish, but also American players. That's cool.
A little bit.
With the Finnish players, do you talk Finnish? Or do you say, like, no, I have to, like, it's going to be equal for all the players, so English with everyone?
It is equal to all players. And if we're around different nationalities, always in English. But I cannot deny the fact that I hold a special relationship with the Finnish players. We come from the same culture, same background. We know the same people. So sometimes we joke around in Finnish and share thoughts in Finnish as well. I'm never trying to exclude anybody by it, but I think it would be silly for me to say that they're not somewhat special to me.
Elmarie said on the episode that he was on that he misses the water here in Vienna. He loves it, but he misses the water. You feel the same?
The seaside in Finland is my favorite. Austria is so landlocked, but I do go to Donau often because it gives me that little feeling of being close to water.
So have you ever played yourself? Another question I wanted to ask.
Yes,
I do know the answer, but
I did play myself in youth and then in the women's league. I was not very good at it. I was actually afraid of contact when I was wearing pads. And then for some odd reason, I turned out to be a rugby player and pretty good at it too, I would like to say. So I took the pads off and then I was able to hit
Are there
people.
any highlights we could look up on the internet?
Oh my God, we should pull some up. There are some good bits and pieces from that journey.
We'll do the research and we'll put in the video of the podcast, we'll add some
like big hits.
some big hits that you did as a rugby player. Well, us at the ladies team, at the Vienna Vikings ladies team, we keep saying we wish we could recruit you, but we have practice at the same time. So you have to be with the guys.
Again.
Have to work.
I know.
Very unfortunate that we can't have you as a teammate, but we would love to. Maybe in a friendly game in the off season, we can put some pads on you,
please.
So you think you would love it, or are you still more on the rugby side when it comes to playing yourself?
I do miss just contact sports in general. So whatever it is, I would just like to hit somebody one more time. Just
you're always welcome. So you mentioned you're also a strength and conditioning coach, and when it comes to hitting people and contact sports, there are a lot of common injury patterns we know and we see here in football. As a coach, how do you prevent that from happening with your players, especially in the preseason? Because you're here in the preseason too, and you do workout plans for them, workouts with them. How do you try to prevent that?
There are only a certain type of injuries we can really prevent. The soft tissue, non-contact, we can strengthen knees, joints, soft tissue. But then after all, it comes down to luck when it comes to contact injuries.
If you break a bone, you break a bone.
Exactly.
You know?
But we do a lot of work in the off season, just programming the right way, making sure that we are fully prepared to go into the season and the load that comes with it. So in the preseason, the load management is very important, whether that's how much we're doing in the gym, on the field, during running workouts, and then finally, and most importantly, when it comes to football drills and scrimmages and so on. So do a lot of load management, and we've had a fairly healthy season so far, which I'm really, very happy about. But it unfortunately oftentimes comes down to luck.
That's very true. Another thing that really feeds into like how healthy a player is and so on is nutrition. Do you tell your players, hey, this is what you should eat, this is what's good for your body as an athlete, or do you trust them in a way? Do you give them nutrition plans?
We try to, I'm not a certified nutritionist, but obviously I know a lot about the subject. So, and we provide, especially our import players, meal plans that they get. So they get healthy food. We provide them with Voss products. So they stay up on their protein, whatever supplements they may need. And I can give general guidance. I help them out with that. And especially when it comes to hydration. The summers here in Vienna are extremely hot. So if they have questions about those topics, I either know the answer or I'll research it for them. I'm just trying to be as helpful as I can.
Yeah, so nutrition definitely, especially like last weekend, very hot game. The players are all at their limit, and hydration and everything. I think it's always good to have an eye on that too.
Exactly.
And as much as they're pro players, I think as a staff, you also have to keep an eye on them,
Yes.
right? Yeah, season can be long and draining. It's week after week. How do you disconnect and take time for yourself in times like that? And do you do something for your mental health? Do you have like routines or weekly things you do?
It's very hard to sometimes find time for myself because I like to be available for our players. If they text me with a question or they have some type of concern, I want to be available and answer. But I think my favorite like mental health weekly routine thing is every day before a game, whether it's away or at home, I go for my long run, usually around 10K that I run. Usually don't even wear headphones, don't even listen to music. I'm just deep in my thoughts, kind of like getting ready for the game, but also just like debriefing from the work week because now we're at the big day, the game day. That's the fun thing.
Everything you've worked for the whole week.
Exactly. Yeah. So those runs that I do in the mornings are extremely important to me. Just to kind of give myself that minute and that time.
Do you have someone who's like an inspiration for you with all that you do? I mean, we generally rarely see women coach in football. Is there any female inspiration you might have, or maybe also male inspiration?
There is tons. There are so many amazing female coaches who have already like moved up the ranks and are doing amazing things at different organizations, especially on the NFL level. They've taken a big initiative for that, and I think it's amazing to see. And I really look up to all those women. But I think the people who inspire me the most are the little kids that I see, especially at the Vikings. There was a moment I did a kids camp, I think it was last summer, and this one kid asked to take a picture with me. And he said that we will recreate this picture when I play in the NFL and you are coaching on the opposing team and we're in the Super Bowl. And I was like, okay. And
well, maybe you'll be coaching the same team.
Exactly.
But still.
It was so sweet. And that awesome. Really inspired me because like he's, chasing his dreams. I'm chasing my dream, whether it's being here for the rest of my life or pursuing NFL opportunities later on. But that was such a sweet moment that really like lit a fire under my ass. Like, okay, I want this. I want to take a picture with him at the Super Bowl.
That is amazing. Well, I hope one day we'll see the two pictures next to each other.
I hope so too.
I love that. Yeah, again, mentioning not a lot of women are coaching football in Europe, some more in the NFL, but still not a lot. How do you think that can be changed in the future? Right now in the ELF, the Vikings are a big exception.
Yeah. This is a odd take, and it's it doesn't need to be per se changed. Doesn't need to be an initiative. It doesn't need to be a box to be checked out that, hey, we have a female, check, we're good to go. It shouldn't be like that. Never. Whether it's race, religion, gender, anything like that. You need to hire the right people. And that takes head coaches who want to work with different types of people. And I think there is a lot of really, really great female players turning into coaches and female coaches who are deserving of the opportunity. And pushing them is the most important thing now. And finding those head coaches who are willing to give the chance.
Mhm.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians once said that he wants as diverse of a coaching staff as he can, just so he gets different types of input that leads to great output in his mind. So he's been a really pioneer of hiring female coaches, older, younger coaches, and so on. And it takes coaches like that to make it happen for women as well. And Coach Kalika is a great example of a similar philosophy. He hired me to be here, and I really hope he doesn't regret his decision.
Really.
But I hope other coaches in Europe have the same mindset of like, I'm not hiring for a certain demographic. I'm hiring the best person, and I will consider the female applicant as well. That is what we want.
And whoever does the best job gets the job.
Exactly.
How do you personally handle that big kind of ego that you sometimes meet in the sports world? There's a lot of team dynamics and a lot of, big egos, apart from like gender, everything. How do you handle that?
Especially in our coaching staff, for example, we have big roles and big titles and this and that, but we work so well together that there's really no room for ego. It's just this like seamless machine working in unison. Whoever needs help gets the help. Nobody's above a task or a duty at any time. And I think it works beautifully. And I see a lot of the same thing from our players as well. You need to have a lot of confidence, yes, but you need to have a big ego? Not necessarily. And I don't think I see a lot of that at the Vikings. I see a lot of confidence though, which I like.
That's a great thing to hear. What do you generally think of the state of American football in Europe right now? How are you seeing growth, and how are you seeing it? How fast is it going?
I'm definitely seeing growth. It's just we get so many fans at our games, and they're all amazing, and they're wearing the merchandise, and I see them out on the streets wearing merchandise. Like I said, those kids coming to our summer football camps or throughout the winter, practicing so hard. There is growth. The NFL is growing as a brand through the Europe games, but I think the ELF is really bringing a new level to it because it's more attainable for these homegrown players. They have something more to dream of. So maybe that keeps them playing longer and get them more involved from their youth years along. So there's a ton of growth, but we need more. We still need more. Bring your friends, bring everybody type of thing. It's a small community.
Yes. But I also think it's growing. When it comes to like the coaching infrastructure and trainings and everything here in Europe, how is the support or the limits of the infrastructure of the coaching, education and opportunities that you have?
I think it works in some ways really well in Europe because there's so much opportunity if you are willing to learn and want to come in. There are so many teams, whether they're division teams, youth teams, for you to like step into that coaching role and start learning in it. But definitely what I would like to see more is like coach exchanges, like more coaches from here in Europe going to the US to learn for a bit and then come back with all that knowledge.
Like you did.
Yeah. It kinda, yeah, because it's bringing American coaches to Europe is great, and they usually know a lot and they're great coaches. But just to keep the European coaches getting better, we need a little bit more help seeing how those programs operate in the United States and then coming back here to kind of spread that wisdom.
That's also what Coach Kalika said on his episode. You have to educate and to train the European coaches because you can't afford to bring in 5 US coaches for every team. You have to support the European ones and grow them into be good coaches.
And then one thing that I really admire from Coach Kalika, like he has a coaching tree over here in Europe. He's been here for so long that he has developed so many coaches that we have at the Vienna Vikings and that other teams have in their ranks at the moment because he chose to stay after his playing career. And that's also one way to build it is to find these American coaches who want to stay and keep spreading that wisdom to younger coaches.
Yeah, I think we're also very lucky to have him.
Yes,
we're lucky to have you. Let's talk about football games. Last week or last weekend, you played the Prague Lions. Can you give us a little recap of what that was like?
That was a great game. We went into that game with the mindset of this is a playoff game. They are in our conference. They've done so well this year so far. And we put a lot of respect on their name, deservedly so. They're a good team. So we were very tuned in going into that game, and it just played out beautifully. All that preparation, offense was clicking, defense was dominating. Special teams was doing a good job as well. So it was just an all around great team performance. The atmosphere on the sideline and in the audience was just electric.
Very loud.
Very loud. And it's always great to see. And it felt really good. Like I said, Prague is a good team. So getting that result of that game was good.
I can feel that, yeah. Speaking about Prague, I watched their owner on the sideline, Mason. He was like really involved with the players, with the coaches. How is that here in Vienna with Robin? Is he very involved with the team, and what's his impact, in your opinion, as a coach?
His impact on the team is really big. He's been with the organization since the beginning of the ELF years and helped us into the first championship and has kept us going since with his involvement, wanting to be informed and involved and stay into tune. He gets to know all of our players, which is amazing. Some of the American imports have mentioned it to me. Like, it's so cool that, like, I know the owner, I get to go shake his hand when I, like, see him. And he just shows this, like, true passion for this. And he is a competitor himself. And he expects nothing less. And it's awesome. He's pushing us day in and day out and just helping us reach our goals. And it's just, like I said, it's great that the players also see his involvement because they feel well taken care of. And, like, that makes us such a stand-up organization, is that it's not just orders coming from above. It's somebody actually helping us day in and day out, no matter what the task is. He's that type of guy as well.
I think you said something to me once, like, whenever he sees the chance to make something only 1% better in this organization, he will do everything in his power to make that happen.
Yes.
I think that's very much his approach, and it shows in every aspect of the Vikings.
No matter how small the detail, he's there.
Well, next week, you'll be facing the Paris Musketeers for the first time this season. What are your expectations for that game?
It's going to be such a good game. It's going to get physical. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a tough game. And we're full into the preparation right now. And we respect all of our opponents. But Paris just brings this. They've done such a good job this season as well. So we're very excited to go in and play that game. Because, like I said, they're a very physical team. And I think Coach Jack Del Rio has done great things over there, especially on their defense. It's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a great face-off travel for you guys. That's always a little tougher, but you're prepared.
Yes, we're prepared. Our amazing director of football operations, Leonard, who I really need to shout out because he does it all. He arranges our travel in a way that puts the least amount of stress on our team, that we can just focus on the most important thing, playing the game and winning the game. Going 1-0.
1-0 every week.
Every week.
And last question for you. What advice would you give young people, not especially girls, just young people in general that want to start out in the coaching field? Where to start? Where to begin?
Begin by just finding the first opportunity. And after that, just be a tough ass and prepare to fail. That's the best advice I can give. Fail. Whenever I left to go to the United States and kind of start this journey, I had very minimal help. I failed 1,000,001 times. Big mistakes, small mistakes. And I still keep making those mistakes, but I learn from them along the way. And that's something that I think especially young girls and women getting in this profession need to be okay with and need to accept, is that it's not going to be an easy road. It's going to be extremely tough, and it's not always going to be fun either. It's going to all pay off in the end. But if you just go into things with a little bit of confidence that you're going to make it out better in the other end, that's going to help you out in your career and keep you going into it. But same goes for guys too. Like, just if you keep working hard and you don't give up, you have that next play mentality, just moving forward, whatever happens, then you're going to do just fine.
Very inspirational. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. The very last thing we have to do is our giveaway of the week, and it's going to be a vast goodie package. We mentioned it before. Nutrition is important. Taking the right supplements, especially when you do pro sports, but also in general. So we have a nice little goodie package from the team sponsor Vast. And if you want to win this, you just have to send the answer to the following question to podcast@viennavikings.com. And if you're lucky, your name will be drawn in the next episode. Do you want to read the question right at the bottom?
Yes, absolutely. What was the score in last year's playoff game against the Musketeers? That's a good question.
Yes. And I want to say this. I hope there will be a similar score at the game this weekend.
Yes,
but
please.
If you know the exact score of the playoff game of last year against the Musketeers, send the answer to podcast@viennavikings.com and maybe you'll be a lucky winner next week. Thank you, Coach P.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you on the sideline on Sunday.
Sounds good. See you there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pussy papa.
Vienna calling. Na, 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 na. Move it! Jump!